For generations of women, Cosmopolitan magazine was the daring publication that took on topics few dared to touch. It all started with legendary editor Helen Gurley Brown. The new book, Single Girls, reimagines her life, the early days at Cosmopolitan, and the women who were with her every step of the way. Author John Searles was a top editor at Cosmo for more than 20 years. He's here to talk about his book. Welcome.
Hi there. Nice to be here.
It is so good to talk to you about this. I mean, really, this was unheard of in the 1960s, to consider a magazine so forward-thinking.
Yes. Helen wrote a book called Sex and the Single Girl in 1962, and it sold something like 2 million copies in 2 or 3 weeks. I mean, it was a national sensation, but it was a little scandalous because it told women you don't have to, what Helen said was, be herded and hypnotized by your parents into marrying the first guy who comes along. You can focus on career, you can enjoy your love life without shame. And half the country signed up for what she had to say, but the other half was kind of scandalized, including her mother, who hated the book.
She got to Cosmopolitan, yes, and she just changed everything. Culture, just the amount of women who were so drawn to her, but also so drawn to the magazine and the subjects, yes, that the magazine decided to tackle. But it wasn't easy for her to get there, no, and to get that magazine.
After she wrote Sex and the Single Girl, she was receiving hundreds of letters from women around the country asking for her unique brand of advice. And she and her husband, David Brown, thought, well, what if we create a magazine for single women? Because most magazines at the time were geared toward married women, and women's magazines were edited mostly by men in the 60s. So she pitched this magazine called Femme all over town. No one wanted it. But Hearst magazine said, we're not going to give you Femme, but we'll give you this dying magazine. It's not doing very well. Let's see what you can do. It's called Cosmopolitan.
A dying magazine,
yeah, exactly.
Could you imagine? I didn't realize Cosmo was not Cosmo. You know, it was Cosmo. A very different
Mark
magazine.
Twain wrote for Cosmo, wrote short stories in Cosmo many years ago.
So I had a stack of Cosmopolitan magazines growing up. I mean, just like every issue. And I remember the how to crochet your own bikini
yes,
very well.
exactly.
I remember seeing the picture. Yeah. I remember trying to do it. I think I made a pot holder.
Today,
I mean, it was impossible, but fabulous. I mean, but I think we were all drawn to the headlines. And I think that these were topics really considered off limits at the time.
Yes. Well, that was one thing I use in the book. So it's a novel. I've been traveling the country on book tour, having wonderful events. And then after I talk, inevitably someone raises their hand and says, so it's a biography? And I say, no, it's a novel. It's dramatic fiction, but it's all really based on so many of the true things of Helen's life. But I imagine conversations where no one was in the room. And I was an editor at Cosmo for 23 years, and I was hired by Helen, so I knew her. But I use real cover lines like how to crochet your own bikini. But one thing I realized writing the book and getting my hands on all these issues from the 1960s, how many stories they did that were ahead of their time. Like they did stories on how to get a divorce, which I know that sounds really basic. You couldn't Google that as a woman in 1965. Stories on interracial marriage. Helen ran a full-color map of the female anatomy because she thought women need to understand their bodies better. And they had a reoccurring column that was called What It's Like to Be. And they found different women from around the country, like what it's like to be a Southern woman, what it's like to be a Catholic woman, a Black woman, a Jewish woman, a gay woman. On the surface, the book is very, very fun, but underneath there is all those kind of what was going on for women and feminism in the 1960s.
It's been such a joy to talk to you.
You too.
And we have a free excerpt of Single Girls on our website at clubcalvi.com.